Hi everyone, it's Joel and welcome to this slightly different video where instead of kind of nature shots and lots of drone stuff, we're going to be talking about a car. And this car is a car that I've just recently bought. It's a BMW Z4 and it is the 3-litre variant, which is the most powerful variant of this generation of Z4. So I thought there's no better way to share the experience of driving this car with you guys than to make a video about it. So let's get on the road and we can talk in a bit more detail about this car. I've owned the car for almost a week now, and there's a few things which I've noticed which stand out. So considering it's a sports car and it's quite low down, it's convertible, it's actually incredibly comfortable. The suspension itself is, I would say, average. It doesn't feel any harder than a normal car or a hatchback. And the seats as well, for some reason, they're just really comfortable. I know they're nothing special because it's quite an old car, but they're, you know, electrically adjustable, and for some reason I don't get a bad back driving this car, and I do driving others. Also, in terms of comfort, this car has got a 6-speed manual, so when you're on longer journeys and you're perhaps using dual carriageways or motorways, at 70 miles an hour you're actually only at about 2,500 RPM in 6th gear. This means that the car is very, very quiet at motorway speed. In terms of comfort options that this particular car has got spec'd on it, I've got electrically adjustable seats which have got memory functions on them, which means if other people are driving this car regularly, we can all have our own seat position settings and the car will automatically adjust the seat to that once you get in the car. Also, this car's got cruise control, which is fantastic in my opinion, because I do a lot of long journeys and therefore do use cruise control a lot. And it just takes a lot of stress out of driving sometimes, and you can just know that it's going to do the speed limit for you and you can kind of sit back and relax, I suppose. The convertible roof is electric. You just hold the button. I think it takes about 15 seconds or so, but that's really easy to operate. Along with down here we've got our air conditioning controls, and this car in particular has got a aftermarket radio system which has got Bluetooth included, so it really is great. The other two options that this car has, which I think are a must really in most cars now, are automatic lights and automatic wipers. Again, from a lazy point of view, it means you don't have to worry about it at all when you get in the car. Whatever the conditions are, the car will do its lights and it will do the wipers accordingly for you. So that's all the boring stuff out of the way. Let's talk a bit more about what this car can actually do on the road. So this car then is by far the fastest thing I've ever owned, but it's not the fastest thing I've ever driven. But what is noticeable and very apparent from when you first drive this car is the torque that this car has got. I think it's something like 220 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty much the same as the brake horsepower that it produces, which is 230 odd. So for example, when you're going up a hill, you don't even have to think about changing gear because you know that the power is just there in any rev range whatsoever. So in terms of performance specifications, from the factory this car on paper should do 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds. I don't know how many brake horsepower it has lost in the 13 years it's been on the road, but it still feels bloody quick, I must say. So these Z4s have got a sport button, which from what I've read about are a little bit of a gimmick, because they don't really seem to do that much, and what they do isn't that special. But having used the sport function a little bit, it does noticeably tighten the steering and also increases the throttle response. So you can be a bit more aggressive, and it feels a bit more aggressive when you accelerate hard or let off the throttle hard. So the main thing for me with this car actually is the torque. Although, like I said, the 0 to 60 is pretty quick and it pushes you back in the seat. What is noticeable is the torque. So like in third gear, from 40 to 60 miles an hour is a matter of 2 seconds at most. And that's what it's actually most usable on the road. So I think it's probably time that we stretch the legs a little bit of this 3 litre Z4. Let's go. Driving in sport mode now, this thing handles fantastically. The steering is electronic, but the steering is built so that it still feels very, very connected with the car. Although there is some body roll, which is kind of unexpected from such a heavy car, when you are really pushing it around the corner, there is none whatsoever, and it sticks like you would expect it to stick. And you can accelerate out the corner in any gear and it just goes. So I don't want to get into the practicality sort of aspects of this car too much in this video. I think maybe we'll do something separate on that. But the main reason for that is because I didn't buy this car because I wanted a practical car. With my budget, I could have got something a lot more practical, or something with 4 doors, which I could take more people in. But having said all of that, this car has got a 240 litre boot, which is rather sizable. And you can fit 2 large suitcases in it. And actually thinking about it, that is probably it in terms of practicality. Yeah. In terms of practicality from inside the car, excluding the boot, there is almost none. Apart from the nice little things that I mentioned, like electric seats and automatic this and that and the other, there really isn't much in here. So there is no cup holders. There's these pathetic door pockets which you couldn't put a pencil in, quite frankly. And I'm sure if Matt from CarWow was to do the bottle test, it would fail horrifically. But again, I don't care. That's not why I bought this car. I didn't buy a car because I wanted to put my 2 litre bottles in the door pockets. I wanted to buy the fastest, most comfortable, best looking and probably least appreciating car that I could for my budget. And I think for less than £5,000, there really isn't anything that fits those categories better. So you've driven your nice BMW Z4 to the beach or your favourite place to walk your dog, and you're thinking, well, for under £5 I could have got a 330ci or even an E86 M3 if it's really doggy. But what you can't do in those is put the roof down. And this is when you really know you've made the right choice, when the roof's down and the car is in its element, doing what it's meant to do, which is being driven as a convertible car. And the long bonnet that you can see from the driver's seat and the lowness of the car, meaning you have to go sideways over speed bumps, all makes it feel like a car with road presence, almost like a supercar. But then the good thing is, it's not a massively expensive car, so you don't have to worry about where you're parking it or if it's going to get scratched, as you would with a supercar. And for me, all of these factors and elements together mean that this is the best sports or performance car that you can buy for less than £5,000. The sound that the inline-6 engine makes is really, really nice. It's almost got the depth of a V8, just not with the same sort of grasp that you would get from a V8. But it is such a reassuring sound, and it just, you can tell just from the sound of the engine that it will just go and go and go forever, which I hope it does, because this is quite a high mileage car. But it's just clearly the perfect type of engine for a car like this. And you just know that BMW, when they designed and put this car together, that they thought through everything, and the way it goes around corners, the way it accelerates out of corners, the way it feels generally is just, it all feels deliberate, and that is from a driving enthusiast point of view, that is what you want from a car. So to conclude, I'm absolutely in love with this car, and it's fast enough for me, it's comfortable enough for me, and it's got extra comfort things like cruise control, so when I do just want to cruise and not use it as a sports car, and when it's realistically pissing it down because this is England and it does all the time, I can still use it as a daily car and it doesn't feel ridiculous and it doesn't feel like a sports car, and I really like that about this Z4. So with all that said, I do really think this is probably the best sports car, but also just car in general that you can have some fun with and use every day, that you can buy for under £5,000. So thank you for watching this video. In the future I've got a lot more planned with this car and with other projects as well, lots of travel, so do subscribe to the channel, do leave a comment to say if you like this video or not, and give it a like as well if you did enjoy it. Thank you very much.